Hello everyone, and in this video I will be going over a few points about the latest episode of Digimon Adventure : that aired today. So that was episode 59, Bolt, Hercules Kabuterimon. So I sort of half-jokingly said that I'd be making this video if a certain thing didn't come up, and lo and behold, that certain thing did not come up in this episode. Before I start this video, just spoilers are ahead for episode 59, so watch the episode first before watching this video, just so nothing is spoiled. Also, before I start, a bit of a warning that this is a semi-rant video, but despite that, I actually did sort of like this episode. So if you'd like to hear me being a little bit more positive about this episode, definitely check out the podcast coverage of episode 59 that we'll be recording in a few hours, and then releasing in just over 24 hours after releasing this video. So, yes, so spoilers ahead, and don't worry, this is a rant video, but my whole thoughts on the episode aren't entirely negative, it's just this one or two points. So, early on in Digimon Adventure : we had Koshiro sort of having some sort of need for knowledge, and he said there was a reason for that. Then later on, when asked about his family situation, when we sort of went back to Tokyo for a little while, or at least a few of the the majority of the characters did, we had Koshiro sort of gloss over something relating to his home situation. So I always thought that in the episodes that we have character development from Koshiro, we would sort of touch on that family situation a little bit more, and now we're up to episode 59 of 66. I expected this episode to bring out, Koshiro, I'm actually adopted, or that's sort of like a realization from Koshiro, or just a reference to it saying, I've recently found out that I was adopted, something along the lines of what we had in the original adventure. Obviously, nothing too similar because it is a different show, but because Koshiro had sort of touched on this topic before, it would have made sense to have it in episode 59. However, this episode, while it did have him using his knowledge, it didn't feel as meaningful as when we had him use his knowledge in the Kabuterimon to AtlurKabuterimon debut episode, where Koshiro was forced to use his own knowledge in his brain rather than his tablet. That made it feel very meaningful about that he had the Crest of Knowledge. In this episode, it honestly could have just come out more as Koshiro has the crest of believing in himself, which is what the main part of the episode was, where Koshiro's like, oh yes, Tentomon believes in me, so I can achieve things, which is sort of weird considering we then have his crest activate at the end of the episode. So we didn't really have much knowledge from him in this episode. It felt more of he made a mistake and felt bad about it, and then Tentomon said that he believed in him, and then he's like, yes, as long as my friends believe in me, I am powerful. And that was his realization to get Tentomon to evolve to the fully evolved form, which is Hercules Kabuterimon. And it felt kind of off. Like, I mean, as I said, I do like this episode, I have some positive thoughts about it, but I just wanted to explain my main negative point about this episode. And I kind of dug myself into a hole where I have to do this video because I honestly was convinced that we would get at least, if not a full explanation, but a little bit of a hint towards Koshiro's family life. I'm probably expecting them to still bring it up, but honestly at this point I wouldn't be surprised if we had this bundled together in with a bunch of other realizations from the characters and about like 5 minutes of character development in a sort of motivational speech similar to the one we had in the original adventure when the children realized their crests were within themselves the whole time. And at this point I'm honestly expecting that same sort of thing in episode 65 or 66. So that's sort of, I guess, my prediction. But yeah, that's mainly my main point about this episode and why I was kind of a little bit disappointed. Not that I'm expecting too much or that I want a show to fit all my expectations perfectly for me to enjoy it. That's not the case. I was just surprised that we didn't get this bit of character from Koshiro. But yeah, I guess I'll save the rest for the podcast we're recording in a few hours. So what did you think about this episode? Do you care about this point not being brought up? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!